Tonight officially kicks off budget season, everyone's favorite topic, favorite time of year. So tonight is our initial overview with current 16-17 revenues, expenses, our current budget, as well as projections and changes, and a lot of really good, important, and valuable information. So Enrique is here to walk us through what our numbers look like.
Thank you. Good evening. These numbers and these presentations are based on all the information that I got up until Wednesday of last week. So, as you know, information that we need for the budget trickles down over the next month. This has absolutely nothing to do with the news about energy, so if there's going to be any decisions about how that will affect our budget next year is not in here. That will be discussed with the Board of Education in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think in all fairness, we're going to be preparing for something that's coming, but that doesn't stop us from moving ahead with what we'd already,
Exactly.
with what's underway and what our plans are.
Hey, Enrique, before you go, can you go back to the... Can you tell us where you get these pictures from? Because that one was just stunning.
Students.
Every year I ask the high school art teachers to send me work from their students. It's marvelous. It's incredible. They send me 20, 30 pictures. I'm there with Diane and some other people trying to pick the best ones. Really, it's not like I pick the best ones. I pick the ones by...
It speaks to you at that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Exactly.
They're
because they
beautiful.
are fantastic. And you're going to see that, for example, historical data. Usually we don't have one, but there are so many, we don't have just one slide for historical data, but there are so many great pictures that I cannot just say I can take only 3. I wish I could take the 20 or 30, but then...
But you use them throughout the program. So thank you. I think it's wonderful because it certainly, it's what the kids do. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So going back, I want to start with some of the historical data about our budget. The first one is budget compared to expenses. I tried to make it look better because in the last year, our expenses did very well. Our legal expenses were low, our special ed expenses were low. So last year we did very well compared to what we budgeted. But if you take out that year, you can see that the rest of the years were within 2% of what we budget. Our expenses really are very tight and are within 2% of what we budget. That's the one at the top. In the one at the bottom, you can see the percent change in our budget and our tax levy. And if you can see, also our increase in tax levy has been minimal compared to our increase in budget, and obviously energy was part of it. This year you can see an increase of 5%, and the reason is that we are going to move some of the money that we saved last year into a repair reserve. But that in order to be able to move it into that repair reserve, it has to be shown in the budget. So $2.2 million is not that we're going to spend them next year, is that we're going to move them to the repair reserve, and that's why we have such a big increase in our budget. Let's continue with some more historical data. You can see revenues. The revenues have been going up little by little, but they are parts of these revenues that have gone up more than the rest. You cannot see it, but you can see that you need to see it very carefully in order to understand. But for example, other income, that it's a small part. Other income is going. No, other income is other revenues like interest rate, interest income, payments to clubs. But today, other income represents a lot of money thanks to the Special Education Department, Lina and her people, because this year our increase in tuition is going to be over 100% compared to last year. We're expecting to get over $800,000 in tuition money for our ABC classes from other districts. So that's a huge increase. You can see it in the bottom graph. You can see the bottom graph how other income increases 53%. Fund balance also increases substantially because of that. But in general, if you can see, our revenues have been going up less than 2-3%, and that's because they go up only with our budget. On fund balance, you can see in the picture on the top, that's the picture where we have unassigned fund balance. An unassigned fund balance is all the money that either we save because of expenses or we move from one year to the other one. By law, we cannot have more than 4% of our next year's budget, and that's a green line across. And as you can see, every year we've been in about the 2-3%, and last year, because we had a very good year, obviously we are over the 4%. We were cited in our audit, and that's why we're moving that money into our repair reserve. Total fund balance, you can see exactly the same how it's been in the $5 million, and suddenly last year it increased to $8 million. Any questions, Lori?
Yes.
What, is there a reason we're moving all that into repair?
2.2 million because we have
Why can't we
three
put that in
other.
fund reserve? Fund, yeah.
We have three other reserves. We have repair reserve, we have unemployment.
I just answered my own question.
Okay.
Mary
Are
Pat.
there any
But
limits?
go ahead.
If you're looking, we put it in repair reserve, are there any limits to what we can do? I mean, clearly
No.
it's repairs, but it's just if we need a new boiler, it's there. If we need
Exactly,
to do
that.
something, which is...
It's any repairs that we need to do to the buildings, we can use it. It has to be repaired. I cannot build a new wing with that money, but I can repair a wing that I already have.
Well, but it's not limited, that's
That's the limited
That's
factor.
very-
It
thank
has
you.
to be a repair.
And we've been hobbled in the past because our repair reserve wasn't very big.
So low, right.
So now
Mhm.
Our
it's,
repair reserve at one point was like $700,000 about 7-8 years ago, and we've been drawing money out of it. This year is 400,000, so next year is going to be
2.6.
about 2.6, 2.7.
People often ask me why we can't put a little bit of money aside every year so that when we need to do capital improvement projects, we can use that money. Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure.
Why we can't?
Yeah, why we can't close that?
Unfortunately, state aid
Can't save like
has a cap of that 4% that they don't allow us to have more money than the 4% in our unassigned fund balance. What they are saying is that if you have more than that money in your unassigned fund balance, you are overtaxing the community. So that's why we can, it's very difficult, the situation that we are going through, because again, we know that we're going to lose some revenue in 5 years. If you know that you're going to lose some revenue in your household in 5 years,
Why can't we save?
you start saving today. I can't. I can't. If they see me again with an unassigned fund balance of more than 4%, I'll have the state controller here saying, return it to the taxpayers, return it, rather than save it because hard times are coming. So it's a difficult situation for us.
Enrique, you used a couple technical terms, unassigned fund balance and assigned fund balance. Can you explain
Sure.
to the community what the difference is?
The assigned fund balance, for example, is the repair reserve. I'm only assigning it, that money for repairs for the district. We have another assigned reserve that is unemployment. So I can only use to pay unemployment. I have another one, those are the two that we have. We used to have a tax resource, but the Board of Education decided not to use it anymore because in a tax resource reserve, you can only use that money that you put during that year. So if I have a huge tax resource, but it doesn't hit that particular year, I cannot use it. So it was very difficult to have money there that I might never use and I might need to use somewhere else. Unassigned fund balance means exactly the opposite. I can use it for whatever I want.
So it's basically just money you've saved by not
It's
spending it.
money like in your household. When you save money, it is for anything that I need, rather than, okay, I'm going to put a separate pocket of money for savings for repairs. You know, it's just difficult to manage.
No, I appreciate you taking that though, because there is, the need is there.
The need is there.
And we have no choice, so I think it's definitely a wise decision to put it there where it's available to us for something that we know that
That
rainy
it's
day.
needed.
Yep.
Right, we certainly saw plenty of things on the walkthrough that we can repair.
Yep.
So, continuing with our historical data, the tax cap. Since the tax cap, the community has done very well with taxes because if you can look at the inflation, what the New York State tax cap has been and what the tax cap has been for us. And as you can see, our tax cap has been way below inflation and what the New York State tax cap was. Actually, last year, our tax levy was close to $200,000 less than the prior year. This year, the tax cap is going to be for the state, between 1.2 and 1.25%. For us, it's going to be between 0.5 and 1.2. And inflation is also between 1.2 and 1.25. So again, this year, we're going to be below the New York State tax cap. And in the bottom one, you can see the total increment from 2012 to 2018, not compounded, just the total. And you can see how our tax cap has been way below the other two. And here comes the problem, assessed valuation. As every other community in Westchester, our total assessed valuation has been going down absolutely every year but one. And the reason is that the value of our houses has been reduced since 2008. So between tax resources and houses that are worth less, our assessed value has been declining. So if you look at the left one, you can see the change in assessed valuation for Town of Portland and Peekskill. Peekskill has been hit a lot more than Town of Portland, but you can see that in both cases the assessed valuation has been going down. At the right, you can see the percentage of our total assessed valuation, and you can see that Town of Portland represents about 80%, and Peekskill represents about 20% the balance. So That's the reason why you can see that your taxes have gone up more than the tax cap, because you have lower assessed valuations. However, you can see how our tax rates have always stayed way below 2-3%. You can see Peekskill, 3 years they were negative. Last year it was an increase of about 3%, and this year we're expecting an increase of about 1%. And then at the bottom you can see also the total increase in 6 years. That it's for the town of Portland less than 8%, which is less than 1.5% per year, and for Peekskill about 2%, which is less than 0.5% per year.
Hey, can you go back a slide? If the assessed valuation is dropping, but we're getting, our tax levy is going up each year, so
No, the assessed valuation has nothing to do with tax levy. It has to do with tax rate.
okay.
Tax levy is the amount of money that we need the taxpayers to pay to run the district. We do not control the assessed valuation. We tell the town of Portland and the city of Peekskill, we need $40 million of tax levy. And that's what, because the community approves the budget. When they approve the budget based on the tax rate. So we say we need $40 million, and it's the town and the city that says, okay, in order for me to get to $40 million, if your assessed valuation has gone up, I still need to raise only $40 million, but it's on a smaller number of valuation. That's why your tax rate goes higher than your tax cap, because you are reducing the total amount of assessed values.
So when people go out, protest their assessment and lower it, you're still going to get charged for the same amount from the district,
Exactly.
which raises the
So
rate that you pay.
Exactly. So you need to have a higher rate to make up for what your total assess went down, because at the end of the day, they have to raise $40 million for the schools.
But what we're charged with responsibility for is making sure that our tax levy cap doesn't increase by more than the state.
Exactly. By more than, not the state, but more than our own formula.
By our
But the-
formula.
But has always been lower than the state.
Not the state, not the tax rate increase, it's just the tax
That's right.
levy.
The tax, I know what the tax rate is going to be, but that's not my job. That's the job of the tax assessor in each of the jurisdictions.
Thank you.
So the preliminary budget for the 2017-18 year, on revenues, we expect an increase of 2.7% for state tax and about 8% in BOCES. Like I said, we expect an increase in other income of about 60% to $1,029,000, and that's mainly because of the additional tuition students in our ABC program. Sales tax and transfers will stay flat at $850 and $75,000. And so you know the sales tax is the tax that you pay for Westchester County. Every time that you buy anything, the portion that you pay in sales tax, it goes to school districts. So that's the amount that we get every year. Pilots next year are going to increase about $425,000. We still have 3 different pilots. We have the Entergy pilot that under our agreement will increase at the same rate as the New York State cap, that we are expecting it to be around 1.2. Then we have the RESCO pilot in Peekskill If you remember, in 2011, we signed an agreement with Peekskill, the school district in Peekskill, and under that agreement next year, the RESCO pilot will increase by $67,000. And finally, Continental Buchanan, that it used to be Lafarge, that pilot agreement expires this year, and under the agreement, every year we increase the assessed value by 10,000 compared to the prior year. So we expect an increase of about $8,500.
Enrique, for the Resco pilot, what's the term on that? I forgot, 20 year, what is that?
23 years starting in 2011.
That was 20, 23, okay.
Enrique, can you talk a little bit about the ABC program? Is that going to be a volatile number, Lynn? While we have Lynn here.
Lynn would be better. Yeah.
Well, this is how I work with Lynn. I sit with Lynn, and Lynn tells me we're having X number of kids today. These are the needs. This is in which program they are. I calculate the cost of each of the programs based on the number of students. For example, in this case, I think we increased like 2% compared to this year. We're going to increase what we charge the other districts 2% compared to this year. And then Lynn tells me exactly the needs. A student needs PT, OT, speech, how many times a week. We have a rate, and we go by their IEP. We go. So Lynn tells me that we just got another kid. That's not included. Friday, so it's not included in this. So maybe we again the cost. We might increase the revenues for our next presentation, but also we may need to increase the expense if it needs a teacher aide, a teacher assistant, a one-on-one. So we go and look at, when we look at the expenses, we're going to see that also our special ed program has an increase of about 500,000, and it's because we need more teachers, but we're bringing the revenue.
It's a positive number, and it's going in the right.
Oh,
so we're okay.
It's incredible positive number. Actually, I started in education doing this for Archie. Exactly, they were going back 15 years ago. And it's not only a profitable as a business, it's great economically because you have all the students here, and then you don't have to pay tremendous amount of money for sending them away. So if you take into account that we're saving in transportation, we're saving, so it's one of these programs that you get money and you get the benefit for the student.
And even keeping our own children here. And their families. I mean, it's exponential.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole point. This board needs to remember and recognize that we did that on purpose to help our kids to start with, and then it's expanded in something that then can bring people in. But it was originally started to help our own children in response to a SEPTA request. Parents came in. So thank you.
And now we can go to expenditures. We're going to maintain all our programs. We're committed for next year to maintain our programs. What we're doing also is reducing some of the budgeting facilities. First of all, we have lower utility costs because of our solar panels, and also because there's a potential capital project that we'll discuss in our next meeting.
Yep.
There's a decrease of $700,000 in legal expenses. We had to pay a one-time settlement from the year 2000, so it's a settlement that we knew for years that we were going to pay, and it's about a settlement from the year 2000.
Predated most of the people in this room.
Yeah, probably only Barbara was here when that happened.
You weren't on the board.
I just heard the rumors of what happened, but I don't know.
That's good.
And then TRS, the employer contribution rate is going down, so for us it's going to go down about $300,000. ERS, if you remember back when we were having some financial problems in 2009, the governor agreed to allow us to finance ERS, and we did it because it was going to take a big hit. So for everyone else, it's going down. For us, it's going up 1%. That it's about $117,000 in total. Health insurance premium, that's a big one. For years, our health insurance premium was going up at 3% because we're part of both Northern Westchester health insurance. And we were saving a lot of money in the past. We had at one point a fund balance of about $18 million. And when the state controller audited, they said you cannot have this. So we've been, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been running at a loss, but we were plugging it with that money. We still have a lot of that money, but even with that, we decided that, the board of the health insurance decided that we needed to have an increase of 8%. This increase is very low, so you get an idea. Swift Shift, that is the health insurance in southern Westchester, is going up 15%. So for us, it was half of that. But still, it's an increase of $800,000. So we insured 651 employees and retirees. We paid 310 retirees Medicare Part B, and Medicare Part B went up 10%. And we gave buyouts to 151 employees. So our preliminary budget, we expect our budget to be between $79.1 million and $80, and this includes the $2.2 million of repair reserve. Our budget last year was 75.8. Why 79.1 to 80 is because everyone came to me, all the principals and directors came to me with their budget, and I said, in the 80.1 million, I included everything that they wanted on their budget. We still need to know how many people are going to retire. And based on that, we're going to adjust between 79 and 80. So our budget increase will be between 3.2 and 4.2 million. And that includes the 2.2 that we're moving to repair reserve. That's an increase of between 4.3 and 5.6. Our preliminary tax levy is going up by about $200,000 or 0.5%.
When do we expect the retirement figures to come in?
The retirement have to come by January 31st. In our last contract, we moved there out to January 31st.
And we've received 1 or 2 already, and we anticipate more.
Again, like I mentioned before, our New York State cap is between 1.2 1.25, ours between 0.55 and 1.2. And again, our cap will increase between 200,000 and $500,000 depending if it's 0.55 or 1.2. And for our long-term projections, again, this happened before our announcement, but our long-term projections, if we don't have anything, we don't have anything in the next 2 years that we'll have to do to prepare for Enter G-Sexy. I think our budgets will look very good. Next year, our budget will go down about 3.4% because of the $2.2 million. But we have all our unions contracts, so we know our major increases. I think that at least until 2020, we're going to do financially well. We don't expect any major issues. It's going to be a matter of legislator if we can start saving a little bit more, or what we can do. But at this point, since we cannot do anything, and we don't really have enough information, this is what we expect for next year.
And another really big conversation we'll have in 2 weeks is how a capital project and funding for a capital project and borrowing for a capital project and how you how you tax a capital project, how that is different than general fund budget numbers, because you can't simply take money from capital projects and put them into your general budget to pay for a program and teachers and those sort of things. So as we have contemplated most of the fall about upgrades to our facilities, and we have retiring debt next year, and thoughts of maybe of reinvesting that retiring debt into a future project, we'll talk in 2 weeks about how those funds cannot be used for other purposes. And that's going to be a really big point for us to educate the community.
So if you have an account code tied to paying off a capital project bond, you can't then convert that account code to another account code in the budget. You have to pay it off and dismiss it and replace it.
That's why all your capital projects, or at least all the ones that we've done here, you have a separate proposition, meaning that it's separate money. The community is allowing you to raise that money separately, and it's as like if it were a separate budget. I run it as a separate budget that has absolutely nothing to do with my operating budget. Here you have the revenues that we looked at it before. These are just in a graph. And then we have our expense projections, the way we have to show it, administrative program and capital. Our administrative is going to go 13%, and it's because our legal expenses, our one-time legal expenses were part of the administrative budget, so it's going down. Our program is increasing 5.3%. And obviously our capital, again, that's where the $2.2 million of repair reserve will go. So that's total, that's a 17.8% increase. Largest increases and decreases, total salaries for absolutely all the people that work, overtime, everything is expected to increase $2 million. Remember, we have about 540 employees. Health insurance, like we discussed, it's close to 800,000. Our legal expenses are going down about that amount. Here we have special education and related services that are going up $500,000. but our revenues are going up to 800,000. So as you can see, from the business standpoint, it's also profitable. Our teacher retirement system going down 300,000 or about. Our employee retirement system is 177,000, and our social security 171. So here you have, obviously, we have about 500 account codes. Here I'm just talking about the largest increases and decreases. And thank you for your attention, and now I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions?
Pretty thorough.
Public? No?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the historical data too. That makes a lot of difference.